Good morning. We're going to deep dive and dissect your emotional state to stay at the forefront of your twin flame journey. My body is healed. I really like that one because last night before I went to bed, all I could hear is my body is healed, whole, and holy. So that was perfect for me. Okay. Inner child. Of course, the inner child. The inner child is our vitality, our playfulness, our curiosity, our mystical mind, where we don't need logic to understand how our body is healing or is healed. And we're just allowing it to be what it is. Okay, I love it. So we've got human design gate 11 ideas. Okay, so gate 11 conceptualizes possibilities into ideas. These ideas are drawn from witnessing others' expression and lead us towards idealism, gathering what we like and leaving out what we don't. Ideas reach the throat by way of gate 56. So, right, that's going to be your pituitary gland. Again, moving into the inner child, a child's mind is limitless. I could easily be a fairy in a forest sprinkling fairy dust in my brain and believe that that's actually happening. And it's important to be able to express that inner sanctum, even staying grounded in physical reality. It's important to discern the difference between the physical and the psychological, the fantasy and the reality. It's very, very important that you understand that your brain may be unevolved. And I know that at the age of 32, I came to that awareness. I realized that my brain told me stories that weren't necessarily real. Making up scenarios, negative scenarios, before I entered into an experience. And I couldn't tell the difference between what was real and what was not until after the experience. And then I realized that everything I thought was bogus. But that thought was creating my experience and basically stealing it from me. It was stealing my thunder. It was stealing the miracles. It was stealing the innocence. That thought was stealing my life from me. And so I really, with awareness, knew that I needed to be able to understand the difference. So I started studying, the Hermetic principles, the law of polarity, free will. What does it look like? What does that even mean? What does free will even mean? Because inevitably, I am influenced and guided through the stars, through energy, through symbiosis. We are not separate. And I can't control what other people are doing. So if we are not separate, what extension of that oneness am I? And what kind of free will do I have? And then I realized that I could be standing in the middle of the desert and imagine I'm in the Bahamas. I could be having a conversation with Bob about what car he wants to buy, but thinking about all the messages coming through from source about a situation that I might be having. Only now I can see the inside and the outside. My free will is to either clean the kitchen or leave it dirty. There's always a higher perspective and a lower perspective, and they exist exactly at the same time. But you're always in the right place at the right time. Isn't that interesting? So your free will is simple. It's a mental choice and a mental action. Here, we're going to see what archetype we are working with today. Right? And so when we pull the cards, we're looking for specific energies that create connections so that we can look at each experience with our third eye and not the physical. The sun, again, the inner child, enjoys success and happiness. When you start understanding how your brain works, thoughts, feelings, emotions, the triggers are the catalysts for expansion and growth. Dropping down into observer mode allows me to participate. Being the observer allows me to see with transparency what I'm experiencing in that moment and not the aftershock of the moment. You know, I can now be in a moment with potential and intention to be present. But it takes practice, repetition, constant reminders. Your brain is like the baby, the child in your body, and it's unevolved. And the first step is to become aware that your brain is immature, unevolved, and it lacks guidance, support, discernment coming from the trials and tribulations of childhood. Being put into a world where you're just filled up with everybody else's experiences. Going to school, reading a book somebody else wrote. Right? I imagine that's okay for math. Right? I want somebody to teach me math, but I want to find all the pieces. I know they're all out there, and they'll make more sense when I'm ready for them, when my brain is ready for them. But we're born into these tiny little bodies, and these tiny little bodies outgrow our tiny little minds before we even have an opportunity to figure out what's going on. And now all of a sudden I'm an adult. And I have adult responsibilities when I haven't even mastered being a child or mastered the mind. What is a child? We're all just revolving through every archetype, but we're just trying to catch up. There's a gap in the system, and we have to become aware of that so that we can start observing that, and then we can nip it in the bud. We're a team. So, anyway, Blissfire Reiki. Go to the Blissfire Reiki website and sign up for your Know Thyself journey today. Best investment you will ever make. I guarantee it. Direct message me if you would like a free consultation. I love you. Have a beautiful day.